It was one of those things. I was on a show in Santa Barbara last night, and I was gesturing.
Oh, we're rolling? Okay.
And I was all, and I realized I'd forgotten to take the snake off.
I think you might now.
It's new.
I know, but I mean, we will hear it. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Oh, I should take it off as a
don't know,
rat.
maybe,
It's hissing
maybe.
at you.
Okay. Then you. Is it okay? Oh, okay.
Is it rattling at you, Laura?
Yeah.
But I realized as I was doing that, I was like this. And I was like, oh my God, this whole audience probably thinks I actually wear snake jewelry like normal. I mean, I do now.
Dan, you.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Welcome to What We Thought Would Happen.
It's been a minute.
I know.
Hi.
Today we have 3-time curling champ, self-professed ladies, woman, and flight risk, beloved veteran comic and stand-up comic coach, a sensation in coaching, and just a brilliant, all-around brilliant woman and friend. Here she is, Erin Foley.
Yay.
Right here.
I can retire after that intro. One of my favorite comics of all time just gave me.
Oh, please.
I was.
You're
Laura
the
already
best
knows.
one.
Just for the, I don't even know where to look. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep. What if I did the whole thing this way? You guys,
natural
I've
setting.
got a very important part. No, Laura knows. Like I just went through. I went through many Laura Kightlinger phases. Oh no. Being just unabashedly in love with her.
Yes.
Then in love with her stand-up.
Yes.
And then when you hang in there long enough, sometimes you become friends with the people you love. So, I mean, it's been so many stages.
The first time I
I
was
feel lucky for both of you.
hanging
For sure. What do you mean?
for us, the first time I was like, I sat down and like had a drink with Laura. I could not believe what was happening, and I remember just like it was like the room melted away, and I was just talking to Laura, and then all of a sudden I turned around, and all of my friends who were over there were now like here. Do you know what I mean? Trying to like siphon some.
Oh, I'm pretty special.
Kightlinger off of it. Erin Foley, it's great to see you.
So good to see you.
Erin, okay, here's what I've been thinking about. I know that you said you everyone's talking about it because it's really rare that a truly amazing stand-up starts coaching other stand-ups. It takes patience and I'm going to say incredible empathy. Like I was writing on this show and this young comic came up to me and said, "Oh Lord, could I run my 5 minutes past you?" And my first gut was, "Hey, that sounds like hell on earth." Then I backtracked and felt so fucking bad about it and listened, and her stand-up is really solid. She's this young comic. Her name is Ange Olszewski, Olszewski, Ange. And she's a very funny writer, and she lives in Utah, but I'll give her your info. Because, I mean, can you tell me what your process is, like how you...
Well, honestly, I just... I've been doing stand-up for so long, and then I started to get like out of the blue, just like really anxious on stage, and it never happened to me before. And I think I was just like getting burnt out, being on the road, and just also at the same time trying to transition to more sitcom writing. So as I was doing that, I don't know, something happened on stage where I was just like, I just felt uncomfortable. And I've always felt, well, first of all, I feel uncomfortable 24 hours a day.
No, but
too.
you're a master on stage, though. You really annihilate. You're a strong performer. So to hear you say that you're uncomfortable is striking because you do have a loud confidence on stage.
True.
In your delivery, your material, just like across the board.
I feel like I can pull it off, but it was becoming less and less enjoyable.
Describe the like anxiousness you were like you didn't want to do it. Or
I did not want to do it. But then when I was on stage doing it, I'd be like, okay, this is fine.
Right.
But it would ruin my day. It started ruining my weeks.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I think I just need to take like, maybe it's just I'm done with it. So anyway, the whole point of this is that was happening. Then I was doing, thankfully, more writing gigs. So that was really taking me out of stand-up. And then at the same point in time, I started working with a couple of comics, one specifically on her Netflix specials. For some reason, there's this dumb thing that nobody can mention anybody getting help or
right.
I'm like,
right.
Okay, whatever.
Yes,
So
correct.
People have
all
like
huge comedians have writers.
Yes, like
Lots of
it
them
doesn't mean they're any less
writers.
talented or there's not their
Correct.
joke from day one.
Joan
Anyway.
Rivers had writers.
Yeah,
Larry.
And plus,
right.
whomever your significant other is probably sick of hearing you say, "What do you think of this? Does this work?"
Do you do that?
I do it to Garrett, and he's like out of his mind.
I'm too shy to do that in a relationship.
Yeah.
You're still in a real love phase, though.
I mean, that's nice, but I don't want to bleed over.
I'm mean to Garrett already.
I just want I want him to think I'm unfunny all the time. That makes it so much easier than trying to be funny. I'm like, just think I'm boring, because I actually am.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Like, my partner is very like beyond supportive, but like she doesn't like laugh out loud. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I can't, like, in the beginning of our relationship, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, no, that's not, I need so much bigger of a reaction.
Yes.
And it's just like not her. So I was like, I've stopped that.
Because I love touring.
Yeah.
I met you when you were on tour in, actually the hardest lesson I learned was your gig at Cap City. I had one Thursday show, but they'd asked me to host everything. And I said, I can do everything but Thursday or whatever. And I didn't know that they book you for the block. And so they gave it to somebody else. So the weekend I met you, I was supposed to be your host or something like that.
Oh, no way.
But which is a normal, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're like, that's a normal thing. I should have just said yes to the club and ditched the other thing. But that was a hard, like, I was like, oh, you take the money. Don't be honorable about that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you were on the road. I was like, does that contribute to like the fatigue you were feeling, like that led to your coaching?
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like perfect storm type of thing. So yeah, I wasn't burnt out, honestly, when I got on stage. It was just, you know how it is. It's the travel. And at the time, like, you know, I was making like okay money, but like it was like not worth the amount of like, I just was exhausted.
Erin, were you telling me about these women that were kind of like being anti-gay at some show?
For all the shows. Every show.
That
That's the first 15 years.
Jesus, no, but I remember in particular you were saying that they said like, get a dick or
oh no.
Oh,
I know.
You mean like heckled?
Yeah.
I don't think I've been specifically. I mean, I don't know if I've had like specific anti-gay heckling.
You know, I'm confusing you with another dyke.
Okay.
Laura,
It's just the uncomfortable silence when you do the gay reveal. So you're like, that's enough.
Laura can use the slur because you're in the room.
Oh, absolutely.
I like that word.
I was kidding because I was saying like anti-gay. But yeah, so then I think I took us like way off track. So you've started helping other comics, and then
so I was like, all right, well, how can I stay? Part of it was just like I fell into working with a couple comics, and I absolutely loved it. Like, and so I was like, well, how can I stay in stand up? Like, so I'm doing stand up like locally, you know, because I can't quit it.
Yeah.
Even though I say I am done.
But you can't, it's psycho.
And then you just can't.
You can't.
Yeah. But I realize also like at least right now, my touring days are over. My goals are completely different.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love being around stand-ups. I 25 years into this, I'm not jaded by stand. Like,
that's amazing.
I love that.
About
I just love stand-ups, and now I've been in the writers' rooms for a couple years. And writers are funny, but they're not fun.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think there's a real difference. They're creative and fun and brilliant, but like you don't want to be like, hey, let's go get beers. You're just like, see you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And they're men, and a lot of writers are men, and they're balls. Everything is on the line with a pitch, right? You find that, like, if you say, but what about this? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like I just love stand-ups.
Yeah.
And I love that's what it is. It's the nerdy process, which I absolutely am obsessed with. So like this morning I was working with someone that I'm working on like, someone's Netflix special, and at the same time, this woman who is like kind of famous in the reality space, but she's never done stand-up before. So I'm like, I find that just as interesting.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
new people
tell me about your
funny.
life.
Yeah. New people, because they're not overthinking anything.
Yeah.
And I find, like, I saw a new comic last night and I was dying.
Yeah.
And it was like her fourth time or something. She's like a college student. I was like, oh my God. But I see people posting online all the time, like friends and colleagues who are like coaching or giving some kind of lesson how to do this, and their career is dog shit. It's like they don't have
and they don't have the
back it up.
experience.
The experience to back it up. I'm like, why would I take a lesson from someone who doesn't have the like the merit or to get
Yeah.
into,
Yeah.
you have that. That's why I was inspired that you started, because I was like, oh, finally there's like someone who can actually.
Aaron,
Yeah.
for the people listening and watching, what do you charge, and how do the people get in touch with you? Well, we'll plug it, but I hope to God you charge. You're not just doing this out of being nice, or I'm not going to stand for it.
No.
We'll put your information on the website.
Yeah, it's all on Erin K. Foley. On my website, there's a coaching tab, and there's a video and all the information and price and calendar. My partner Sarah set the whole thing up because she's got so many skills. But she was actually the one that's like, why don't you just like make this a business since you're already doing it? And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
that's
So like
great.
in between like writing gigs and there's just time. I just love it. So I thought, well, why don't I just try?
You gotta get that streaming sources of income bullshit, that passive income, all that. It's like that's the new century.
Yeah.
Like JFL collapsing, which is which is wild. And I have friends who've lost jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, wow, there goes another thing.
Yeah.
that-
I didn't even know that. What happened?
What?
I know. I think Garrett told me about it yesterday.
They did?
Yes, you didn't know that?
Well, we're right in the middle of college basketball season. Daniel, so I don't watch. I don't really like. I think there's Trump Biden, but I'm Iowa basketball. So
One glaring oversight in your introduction is that you're a mega sports and fanatic fiend.
Yeah, I don't.
You're saying curling isn't a sport?
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
Yes.
It's a fashion. Curling is a fashion. Okay, wait. Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
City?
No, Long Island, Brooklyn.
Long Island where?
Long Island, like Hampton Bays area. That's where I was born, but not the rich part.
You know, I was thinking your twin is a teacher, so maybe you both have the kind of a giving nature naturally.
She's a social worker, but my older sister's a teacher, and my mom's a teacher.
Oh, okay.
There's another
So I got
sister?
that wrong.
Yeah, an older sister.
The other sister?
Yeah, she's a professor.
Wait, you guys have the same Olsen family structure?
I don't know the Olsen family
The
structure.
Olsen twins, and then there's Elizabeth, the other
Oh,
sister.
I forgot there was the other sister. Yeah.
There's the garden gnomes, and then there's their older sister. I'm awful. I don't give a.
Wait, okay, because I always say that Erin has a twin, but I've never seen her. Have you ever met her twin?
She's as beautiful as Erin. I'll be blown
but is
away.
she real? There's an AI.
She lives literally right down the street.
Really?
Yeah.
And Ange, who I was mean to, who I've already talked about, is also a twin. So there's got to be some kind of simpatico thing. The comic I was.
I am obsessed with twins.
I think
I
that's
am
why
too.
I'm codependent.
Do you guys go to like meetings where there's other twins? Would y'all ever do shit like that?
No.
There's not like a
big
club.
twin meeting, big twin
Yeah, you
celebrations.
like go out to
or
dinner.
whatever. Yeah.
One time I waited tables. It was the weirdest group of people ever, and I was always eavesdropping and trying to psychoanalyze everybody, but I could not put it together. It was like a group of 20, right? And they were all strange looking and had like just weirdly shaped. Everything was strange. Nothing was consistent. And finally, after like what I could glean from the conversation was that they were all near death survivors, whatever you call that. They
wow.
all had a near death experience, and that was their little club.
Oh my God.
Like someone had been struck by lightning. Yes, all this crazy. So like if those people go out, then you don't tell twins don't go.
Well, first of all, that's so much more
Fridays.
interesting than twins.
Oh, is it?
Well, I mean, at being a twin, I don't like,
Chromosome
people are
parties?
fascinated.
Yeah. BYO Chrome.
But near-death experience club.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
But as soon as
What a great way to like get to die on the way home, though.
but I was.
Drank too much, and then
But you're back. But that's why I realized I was like, oh, that's why they're all kind of like up looking. It's because they've all died.
they're kind of shaky.
I was like, no wonder they all look kind of
God.
busted because they've all crossed over.
there was this New Yorker article about 5 or 6 years ago because I've been obsessed with sinkholes my entire life.
Terrifying.
Right?
Yes.
They're crazy out. This
They
is
could
what the
be
near
anywhere.
death. There's this woman just casually dropped in the article that she has fallen into not one but 2 sinkholes.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I want to know everything about this woman, and
Yes.
she should be in that club.
Yeah, the sinkhole club,
Yeah.
the near-death club.
Yeah.
So I'm also terrified of sinkholes because they happen anywhere, and people fucking die, or your car goes in. There in Desi Arnaz's autobiography, in the beginning, there's an earthquake in Cuba that a sinkhole opens and swallows a bus full of people.
Woo!
And that's one sentence. And then he just moves on with the whole rest of his crazy
And that was a
life.
premise for I Love Lucy.
Yeah, exactly. But
I remember that the most. The bus saying
structural
goodbye.
failure is one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
But like that's of a natural cause, right?
Yeah.
But the two sinkholes, like I also think some people might be hexed. I know it sounds crazy, but there was a woman who died. Well, actually, I guess she almost died from a snake bite, but it was like an eagle or something had a snake in its mouth and dropped it on her.
Oh, I've heard that.
And then she died. Almost died from being bitten and getting a poisonous snake bite from above.
Yes. No,
Isn't that
that
crazy?
is a
Or maybe she did die.
No. Someone got like bit by a barracuda.
Yeah.
In the woods because an eagle.
Yeah. That's exactly
Scooped
what
it
I mean.
out and dropped it, and some hiker or somebody got bit by the fish.
Okay,
something
that's
like
when
that.
you gotta rethink.
Going outside.
Yes,
Yeah,
just
never going
Somebody,
outdoors.
okay, you got to go.
Was it
and-
this
yeah.
snake?
A barracuda in the middle.
It's something like that though, because they're like, it was like a shark or
sorry,
something
it's not
crazy.
funny.
Okay,
but
a snake
brilliant.
bite,
Oh, it's
on the
hilarious.
ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, barracudas are nuts.
But out of this flying, out of the air, out of the beagle's mouth. That's fucking crazy.
My friend lived in Alaska and banged so many Bulgarian girls that he spoke Bulgarian after that. Lots of people work there in the summer, and there's a huge faction of Bulgarian
Did he
people.
try, or did it just happen?
It just happened. It was great. Yeah. Oh, the language barrier was broken. But you see all kinds of crazy shit in Alaska. Like they're shooting stars all the time, 24 hours a day. There's just shit falling out of the sky. But the other thing is you see, like we saw an eagle get into a fight with like two hawks or falcons in the sky. And they're all flying upside down.
Jeez.
And they were like taking the eagle down. It was crazy.
Wow.
I know.
We got to get out of the city, you guys.
You don't ever? So wait, but you don't like traveling for tour or any of that shit? You like?
I did. I loved it for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, I think I was just getting getting a little burnt out. And then I met Sarah. Well, we had known each other for a while, but then I just thought, this is like kind of the perfect time to maybe do, I don't know.
Get domestic.
Do something new too.
I met Sarah.
Yeah.
I
You
like
met
Sarah. a
Sarah.
lot.
Yeah. She's great.
She's cool.
And you have a doggy and you have a little homestead. It's real cute.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's like the grass is greener, right? Like I'm completely settled now. We have a little dog, super happy. Like I'm, writing and coaching. And now I'm like, I could do a road gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because so I have got to figure out like the balance because now I'm like, okay, well, that chapter was fun.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think you always kind of need
I just did two
some excitement.
back-to-back out-of-town gigs with Brad locally.
Oh my God, Brad.
What's his last name?
Locally?
Oh, okay.
I've known him for probably,
He talks about you a lot.
I love him.
Yeah, he does. He talks about you.
At least 20 years, probably.
And he talks about y'all being like back in New York and stuff like that.
Oh my God,
You
yeah.
started in New York City?
Started in New York City. When
See,
I
you
think
are
back, I'm
confident.
like, thank God I was very naive. Like if I had known, like, do you guys ever think about like if you had known now, like the life and it's so hard to say you wouldn't do it, but like I guess I was like, I had no idea, and that really helped me.
Yes. I would never have started in LA had I known I wanted to do comedy.
I think I
right?
would have
Yeah.
been an heiress if I could have done it all again.
God, yes.
You're
Inherited a
giving
big
Eris
thing.
vibes.
You have Eris
I would have
vibes.
liked to have inherited some money. And
Well,
just,
yeah, there's
I
still
don't
time.
know, stuff.
Laura. There's
Oh,
still time.
please. Well, who is there? I've only got my mother, and she has less than me.
Listen, Polly can hook it up. There's still time. Look at that old man Anna Nicole Smith hooked up with, which
Oh, my
actually didn't pan out. But
And what about?
I love
oh
her.
my God, the guy who just got married again, Murdoch. He's engaged. He's 92 and he's engaged.
Rupert Murdoch is engaged.
oh well,
too.
he's a gazillionaire.
I know,
though.
but I'd like to see. But he's
there a
got to be cheap.
prenup? I mean, do you think
There would
there's a-
have to be. He's now
Then why would
engaged.
you
to-
Then why would you do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not worth it to have a fucking 90-year-old lizard throbbing on top of you
I-
unless there's a check involved.
Unless
Yeah.
there's like a money buffer.
Only
That's
if there's
exactly what it
There's
is.
like stacks of money and you're on top of the money. I can get there.
that I'm into.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
No,
yeah.
they called it off though. I think they just called it off or
again,
something.
with a
yeah.
67-year-old
Well, she
marine
probably saw
biologist?
the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Saw the contract.
well,
Yeah.
money makes people not attractive to me. Like there's no one is like so rich that they're hot.
No, I mean Jeff Bezos. Could he be uglier?
No, could he be
I
ugly?
guess he could get
Like
uglier.
even in my young sluttier days.
Yeah.
I was just poor people. Like what's the competition?
Although if I have to say if someone, we'll just now switch it over to the female genre because I said Jeff Bezos and I'm like, oh God.
But he is universally
He's universally-
unattractive.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I do think women or whoever you're attracted to get more attractive. Like if someone was a gazillionaire and they were just like the most generous person on, like they were like, that nonprofit and that, I would be like, I'd bang you.
Yeah.
Because women are more like that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just more generous. And, I mean, you are too, kitten, but you know what I mean. But I mean, I'm saying, like in general, it seems like men are really much
Ruining
tighter
the
with
world.
their money. Yeah, and
Ruining the world.
yeah, of course. But yeah,
Destroying everything.
you think?
No, because like Martha Stewart, who I'm obsessed with.
Oh, yeah?
When you said that lady fell into a sinkhole twice,
Yeah.
do you know that Martha Stewart says she's been struck by lightning twice?
Really?
Yes. And says it with a straight face. That's the funniest part.
Well, one was a facelift. That doesn't count.
She was doing dishes and says she got struck by lightning. And then there was another time where she got struck by lightning.
She was doing dishes al fresco, or did
I don't know how. No,
lightning
she was-
flew into the house?
No, it was.
Already, that doesn't sound right. She
Yeah.
has maids to do dishes.
She's one
Yeah.
of those kind of rich people where you name the house.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like-
It's like her lightning house.
Yeah, no, but like we're at like Balmore, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that
yeah,
has a
yeah.
full name.
You're
oh my
right.
god,
I
did
hate
you-
that.
Did you see Harry and Meghan were in Austin, Texas? This is
No.
only relative to us. Yes, and they ate at my friend's barbecue place.
Oh my god.
I
I have
know.
to say, I'm a big fan of those two.
Yeah. What's your attraction? I am as
That
well.
they got out.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy, right?
Really, I think. Also, I just always thought like I'm not like buying into like scandal stuff. Like I you know how some people are just obsessed with like royal family and
Pete
stuff.
died.
Yeah.
Oh, Pete. Oh God, I love Pete so much.
I bonded with Pete over the fact that we recreationally both watched the Princess Diana funeral because the music is so good.
Oh no!
It is.
Again with Elton John. She
No, not
died
that
like
shit.
a candle in the wind.
No, there's
like
something
everybody
called
died.
Song of Athene when they're
Oh.
carrying the bitch out. It's beautiful.
really?
Anyway, go
I
ahead.
did
Sorry.
watch her wedding when I was little, and
Yeah.
then watch the funeral. So
You saw the whole full
I
circle.
guess I saw her. Excuse me for a second.
Yeah. You
No,
saw
but
the prequel and the.
I just was like, someone showed me a photo, like, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, where they're like, it was my friend who lives in England. And she's like, Harry's father isn't, what is it?
Right,
Charles?
it's the other guy,
Yeah.
right.
So I was
Oh.
like,
Have you
wait,
seen it?
what?
No.
And then you see it and you're like, wait, what? So then I got like,
Mm-hmm.
that was the only moment of intrigue. And then I started watching Suits for the first time on
Oh, God.
Netflix.
What is Suits?
Was it
It's-
always on Netflix?
No, it was on some
Stars or something,
channel,
right?
and you know how USA and you know how Netflix like repurposes old shows and puts
Yeah.
them on the top 10. And then you're
I'm
like,
that demographic.
oh yeah.
That's me.
So I was like, it was during this strike, and I was like, I'll watch Suits.
Yeah.
Sarah and I just decided to watch Suits, and we legitimately cannot stop.
Wow.
And so Meghan Markle is in Suits. That's my whole
yes.
point.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Totally.
Is there a lot of backstabbing?
There's a lot of hijinks.
Because that's what all that shit is. It's
Yes.
like, women can't be friends. I don't know if you know that.
Wait,
But
it's,
they
not
have to-
it's not reality. It's a fake show.
No, it's
Or,
a
like,
fake show,
scripted, I mean.
and it's a show I would never watch today. It would never get made because there's like 80 dudes,
Yeah.
and one woman's the secretary, and Meghan Markle's falling out of her shirt.
Oh, I love it.
There
and
we go.
so, but for some reason, I can't. You have do you have shows that you just can't explain, but you just can't stop
Oh
watching?
yeah, no, I'm obsessed with. I'm like, that's my kind of. I watched this movie. I'm now into this where it's like YouTube. You just Google YouTube full movie and then put in a year, 1995, and weird normal shit comes up. Like Stargate, the full HD movie was there for free. So I watched that, but then I watched something called Cruel Jaws, which is some weird, horrible Jaws like try to be movie.
No way.
It's so
like
funny.
Jaws isn't enough. This is the cool one.
And it's so bad. And one of the lines is this guy walks up on the beach. He goes, "Hey, I'm in charge of pussy. I just want to check your credentials." And then the two girls he's saying that to go, "Dick dick brain, and go running off. I was like, this is so my movie.
Wow.
Yes. So that's
I got to use that line.
I'm telling. Yeah, it's
Oh my
great.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
can I
send you the
see your
clip. Yeah.
credentials?
But the lady had a line. She's jealous of her marine biologist boyfriend, and she goes, "What do I have to do to get your attention? Grow gills?" It's so bad.
Amazing.
So yeah, like
great.
I'll
That's
watch
great.
Suits. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Now that I know, Erin, that you guys aren't that far away, you have to come over. Please have your dog come over and shit in the yard.
I know. Here's what I want. I want to play.
Are you going to get a dog?
The
I
neighborhood
do want to
Huskies
get a
do.
dog.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like it's touch and go. I want a small dog because I want to be
Yeah.
able to bring it places because
Yeah.
I have guilt about leaving my old dog everywhere,
Yeah.
like at home. Also, big dog is like
Yeah.
a human. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? When a big
Yeah.
dog walks in the
Oh,
room,
yeah.
it's like, who invited Frank?
I'm going to invite you over.
Yeah.
There's one weekend in April where Sarah's away. She's doing like a conference in Santa Barbara, like all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
Yes.
So I'm going to be single dad.
Yes. Puppy play.
And you got to come over and just hang out and see if you like a
Vibe. I love dogs.
I
I'm a
want
dog
you to
dog.
get. I'm desperate to have Daniel get a dog.
I'm gonna
too,
get
a
one.
small
It's in the universe.
If you need
It's
a
out
like a
there.
dog fix, come over that weekend, and I'm just going to be.
Also,
by
sitter,
myself.
same. Like if
Yeah.
you're out
Yeah.
of town, I'll totally watch your dog. But what I really want to do is, you play pickleball, right?
I do.
But do you play badminton?
Oh yeah, we've discussed this.
I
want
want to get in on this.
I love badminton. I think I like badminton maybe
More.
even more than pickleball.
Yes, you do.
I am
you
currently
No, but I would like to because I need the arm exercise.
Well,
I
you
think.
got that ape index you love to brag about.
I know you
This is when
should.
the
See, how
fucking-
could I ever connect a birdie with a net? With a racket.
Well, you can
I
make it
probably never
happen.
could.
Contact happens
Because
when you
I
don't
never
even
know where my arms
Did you notice
end.
that?
so fun. I
Badminton's-
haven't played it in so long, but I used to be upset. We played it as a family growing up. We played so much badminton. The Foleys. The Foleys were obsessed with badminton.
Did you have a net in the
back-
yard?
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, yeah.
We have a portable net
In
And,
Brooklyn?
No,
You
we
had
have one in the car.
No, but
No,
I'm
this
trying
was
to
in Rhode
picture-
Island.
Oh, in Rhode
When
Island. Okay.
We moved out of New York when I was like 4 or 5, and then Connecticut for a couple of years, and then Rhode Island. And we always had a badminton. It was just nonstop badminton.
It is the only thing I'm good at. That's it. That's the only thing I can talk shit about. It's the only thing I
Yeah.
can like. And I always say this, but in my old days, I could smoke and have a cocktail in my hand and still fucking win.
Absolutely.
So good.
I was watching the Mary Tyler Moore documentary, which I think is incredible.
I need to watch.
Is it new?
Yeah, relatively, and it's called Being Mary Tyler Moore. It kind of depressed me because of I feel like women on TV have gone backwards. Like we haven't really progressed, and she really started this progression. Like she was the first woman to wear pants on TV, and to tuck. And that's what comes out in the documentary. But I was just like, God Almighty, she was so cool and so amazing, and I feel like we've all gone back from that, like because now women are just their wives. They set up the male actor and everything. They set up the jokes for Ray Romano, for whoever the male comic is.
Yeah.
And it's just
You are very Laura Petrie.
thank you.
Yeah,
You know what's so crazy? I was named after her.
My friend
Laura.
was named Audra after some bitch on Big Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, I think her name was actually Audrey, so her mom got it wrong. But that was a show that wasn't around.
Well, I think it's because my mom was alone and watching TV, in the hospital.
Yeah.
There's that happy story. And I used to say, well, I'm glad that you weren't watching,
like we need you
Lassie
to
or
name the
something.
baby Polly,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore comes on television.
I randomly got an email, and this is fairly recently. Friends had a baby, and they named her I don't know, Claire. And then a week later, I can't remember. It was something that doesn't matter. It was like, let's say
Butch.
Claire. Then the
Then
next
what?
week, I don't know if this ever happened to you. Never happened to me. I got another email. After being with our baby for a week, we realized she's not Claire. She's Marjorie.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
They updated y'all on the name.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody
kinda
would be
cool.
like, I'm going to stick. But also, completely bonkers.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, I was like, I don't actually know how to
Who
feel.
cares? Yeah.
After being with our baby for a week, we've decided to name her Shit Pants.
Yeah.
It's like, what was the baby giving you for 7 days?
Yeah. How unclear could that baby be?
This
Right?
is Tantrum, my son.
Right?
He was John. How fucking
I
lame.
thought you were going to say after
that
a week
so-
with Claire,
so LA?
we've decided to
It
give her
is
back.
fucking LA.
Yeah.
No.
Also, who needs
We
to
decided
be...
we don't want to be parents.
Also, none of us remembered that who's your
You even
baby's
had a baby?
Your baby's.
I'm like,
your baby's
who
name
gives a shit to be in on the fucking email loop that
Yeah.
much? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My friends, and then granted, we were all at their wedding, but when they got divorced, they called all of us to tell us, we just want you to hear before Facebook tells you that we're getting divorced. I was like, who
Okay.
cares? Like,
Yeah.
who cares? But also the announcement of it all.
The announcement.
Yeah.
This is also one of my favorites. When someone breaks up with someone or gets divorced, whatever, and they put on Instagram that they need, please respect our privacy at this time. And you're like, nobody knows you. Literally, nobody knows you.
You can have all the
And
privacy you
asterisk
want.
pull down, nobody cares. That makes me laugh so hard. So many times I run into the living room and like, Sarah, there's another one.
They want privacy?
They want, please protect our privacy at our time.
Oh,
Okay.
Are you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're all.
You
we're
work
all
at a
couple.
pharmacy in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Take it down
Take it out.
5 notches.
Nobody knows. You wear a white coat to work. I can't tell you apart. I don't know who you are. My friends had kids.
Christ.
Yeah, there's like that weird era where all your friends the same age have kids and get married and all that shit, and then you don't and become a comedian.
Yeah.
But it was happening in such a blur that I knew their first rounds, the names of all those kids. But then when they had second,
When they got remarried.
or any of it. I don't know any of the new kids, right?
Yeah.
So the 6-year-old, I'm like, hello, Rebecca. And then her brother, I'm like,
And you.
Rebecca's friend. But I don't give a shit to learn or to get in the loop. But it's really hard. One of my really good friends, I was like trying to tiptoe around. I was like, so how's the family?
Little baby.
And the small one. And the new one. And he's 4.
How's the new one?
He's been new for 4 years.
How's the little one? My husband? No.
And these are, it's all of the same. Also, the same thing that happens is when your friends tell you that they're just not doing well in their marriages, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, as a homosexual male, I think that means they want to swing.
Is it like 2 gay guys and they were talking to you about it like, hey, you want to jump in?
Like straight couples fishing for how to have an open relationship. I should have said it like that.
Yes.
Because it was more,
Yeah.
they just assume that I'm a gay
Yeah.
man so that I have like open, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Or, would you know, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, y'all got to stop including me on all your trials. And you know what I mean?
Because listen, I totally get your perspective, but I get their perspective because in my point of view, gay men, let's say like, not obviously all gay men, let's say 9 out of 10, 9.9, I think have the absolute healthiest approach to relationships. And that is no rules, or they set a very open, like, you're not gonna get everything from your person.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I had this couple in my life for so long. I think they were together at least like 20 years, and they were like compatible in every way, but they just didn't want. They had completely different. Can I swear on this?
Yes.
Oh, fine.
They wanted to fuck other people.
Yeah.
But not honestly because they just weren't attracted to, like, they couldn't bring like a third person in because they didn't have the same attraction to the same people.
Correct.
And yeah, I mean, they're still together. Like, and it's not like a crazy, like, oh, they're out every night, or like, it's just like once in a while or whenever, like, that's just what they do.
It's a relationship,
I love your bit. I don't know if you want to if you think of it as burning the material about how gay women meet and how gay men meet.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not burning. This actually has happened to me so many times where I was just like, I should probably just write this down. But no, I just say, like, straight people, they meet in like really boring ways. Like when you ask them how they meet, it's like bar, friends, dating app, and the guy took forever to propose and the woman's currently disappointed. And then gay men, it's like when you ask gay men how they meet, they're like, The night I met my husband, my dick was through a hole in the wall,
Yeah.
and then my husband was on the other side of the wall, something like that. But the thing that resonates the most for me is because I've been in this situation so many times. When you ask lesbians, like, "Oh, how did you guys meet?" I just say, like, put another log on the fire. Get yourself a case of wine, not a bottle, because you're going to be there for 2 to 3 weeks. I love asking couples how they meet, but I forget, like, you gotta, like, put a timer on it with lesbos.
Yeah.
Because they just start.
Or just put it in chapters. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When there's like a break.
I just can't. Sometimes I get caught doing that because I just do like meet cute stories. And then a couple minutes in, I go, oh my God, I've done this to myself again.
Oh yeah.
Like
no.
with lesbian, like they just, it's in, like, nicest people on earth.
Yeah.
But like, it's uncanny. It's uncanny.
We saw each other,
how
then we
much
didn't see each
detail.
other, and then
Oh my God.
then we had coffee.
They start basically from 3 relationships before this one.
So
They really do. They're like, well,
that's the thing.
at the time, I had a dead end job at Bank of America. And
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
oh, me.
My mom will tell you the time and temperature of the Tuesday before the actual story starts happening. We're like, we need to get to
Yes,
Friday.
Yes.
But I was in a band called Show Me Tiger, which was fun. It was a hip hop band, and it was fronted by 2
love that
lesbians.
title. I
It was
didn't
so
know that.
great. Show
Love
Me Tiger.
this.
My stage name was DJ Mama Cash.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
She choked on money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was so good. And one of my friends, she's now married to this girl, but it was like and this is 100 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But the first time they dated, of course, and then there were different relationships in between. Now they're together. The first 45 minutes of band practice was the text messages of them breaking up. I got it back together. and then look at this. And then she said that. And you'd be like, oh my God, can we just get to a song? And literally, so when they finally got married, it was like fucking good. Like, 'cause I know how much y'all fucking love each other.
Oh my God.
But it is that it is a decades long story of
my God,
of how they even got to marry. You know what I mean? To that point.
Yeah.
But you're right though, because like I call them the Los Feliz daddies. Some of the hottest sex I ever had was with these guys, and they've been married like 35 or 40 years.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was like not at their house, and sometimes it would be at their house. And one of the daddies would just be like upstairs, like watching television. And then sometimes they would both be in and it would be on. But like they had the dynamic worked out that it was not like a broken rule or betrayal or all these emotions.
I always wonder, has that ever been an issue? Like, I mean, I can't imagine that it would just always be understood. Like, if a third person is in there, like, is there ever like, with another guy
jealousy?
going, or just like, oh, we're doing that tonight? It's a movie night.
I'll say this.
Or whatever.
This guy, it was really sexy. And I just moved to LA. This is like years ago. Yeah. We were all 3 in the room. And then one of the husbands left, went and got his hair cut.
No.
And came back.
No.
Because we were still going. But yes, he fully came back, like clipped and all that.
Oh my God,
And
that's
it was just
amazing.
And that's how casual.
So you call it endurance, I call that boredom.
Like, I mean,
God damn it.
I guess I could go to Supercuts if y'all are going to keep going.
I can't keep going on that. I got to paint the something.
That's how blasé the emotional dynamic of like what was happening was.
Wow. So I'm going to assume it's in the afternoon and the lights were on.
There was a daytime, but there was late. There was all. I'm telling you, they had it worked out. It was fascinating.
Wow.
But if the minute you started
left for a haircut is the funniest.
Oh my God.
really
on
love
like a
that.
Saturday. It was so great. But yeah, that was one of those moments where I was like, okay, they like LA is also very different. LA has progressive gay relationships in places in like the Midwest where the culture
How
is
about
I just love it.
Straightville?
I just think like,
Give us a report from Straightville, Laura.
okay, I just, as someone with major ADD, I could think of 1,000 things to do during the 18 minutes that we're having sex. You're not even looking at me.
He's watching the Oscars.
He's just so sick of it.
It's the red carpet. You guys,
Like, does that work? Do you think, like,
You could leave and come back?
No, the open. What do you think
straight
the
people?
percentages with straight people have open?
I'm really
relationships?
afraid of it. I think it's hard to focus on one person.
Yeah.
And that's me.
Yeah.
I can't finish masturbating. I don't know about you. I get bored. I go, laugh. I'm going to go take myself for a walk.
I don't need another broad break of my spirit.
You're right. It's true.
I think it's different with straight couples because you can't always mix it, right? With gay, if that's the attraction, right? If it's man, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's somewhere in there it's an element, but it's like, does a husband have to get his wife into a woman? You know what I mean? I feel like that might be like less or harder to broach, right?
I don't
Is
even
that the right
mean,
word?
I don't even. I just mean not bringing someone in. Just be
Kicking
like,
someone out.
I'm gonna be back late tonight.
I never get that though, honestly, because like that would be hard for me to be like, I'm gonna go get a burger. Like, what do you do when you're like, I'll be right back?
Well, no, I mean,
That
if
part.
you like, if you had a relationship where you're like, okay, you can, when you feel like it, you can have sex with this other person or whoever. Like Sarah and I have talked about it, randomly, like back in the day, and I was like, okay, it's not like a deal breaker for me, but like I don't want to know at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I need to know every detail.
Oh.
And first of all, I have no intention, but I'm just saying,
right.
and she's like, no, if you like came to me and we talked about it, or if you did something and then we talked about it, she's like, as long as it's like open and we're talking about it. And I'm like, oh my God, no. I can't, because even though
You want a book report?
she says that, because honestly, she is extremely like thoughtful. I mean, she's wonderful. So it's not like I just think my like repressed Catholic guilt, like, like I would feel so like sitting down in front of this woman that I love being like, I know it would be okay. I know you said it would be okay, but I f***ed Sally last night.
Right.
And here's how it went down. Like
how do you do that? How do you do that?
I think
Right.
Garrett and I, like, sometimes we'll watch an old movie, like an old 70s movie or something, and we'll both comment on a woman's boobs.
Then you guys need to really watch Cruel Sharks. Or Cruel Jaws. Cruel Jaws. You really
Maybe we should.
I love old gay men because they'll hand you like an ashtray full of pills, right? And they'll be like, take a pill. You're like, well, what is it? They'll be like, just take one. She took one, take one. You're like, what is it?
I need to go to these parties.
They're
I used to say if a pill rolled under the office door, I'd take it. I don't give a shit what it is. At work. Yeah.
No,
I've always been too nervous with the pill stuff.
it's too easy.
I love alcohol more than I can say.
Wait a second.
But I know how
But
to
you don't drink. But
control
you don't
it.
drink anymore, right? Or
No,
you do?
I drink, but I have to drink less.
Oh,
Me too.
I don't know why
It's
we
not a
haven't been
bad
hanging
thing.
out more
It's
than.
not a bad thing.
You're
but
one of my very few friends that drinks anymore.
I'm like one and done now, which is great, but
like 2 max. Usually 1.
mine used to be like, if I could get 6 drinks, then I'd be like ready to drink.
Well, I think the key is: are you on antidepressants?
No.
Okay, because
Do you
if
want
you're
to
on-
be?
If you're, that's great. But if you're on antidepressants, I always say that's like the spoiler on the back of the car. Like it kind of works, kind of doesn't work. But it makes everything go a little too fast. So you're not supposed to. I'm on antidepressants, so I'm not supposed to drink. But I do.
Yeah. You know what's so annoying? First of all, just getting older.
You crack me up.
Getting older,
It's
you
the
just
snake.
Yeah, you get so like you get more comfortable, you get more confidence, but at the same time, like your body's like just like I just was like, if I felt this way and I had like this much like confidence and just kind of general excitement in my 20s, like in my 30s, you know what I mean? Well, it was probably a good thing. But now when I drink, I'll have, I had a gin and tonic last night. And then I have to take like at least half a gummy to go to sleep to stop these thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I was
love
like, well, I
gummies.
got to cut down on my caffeine. I'm like, Well, I just felt like this is a walking
You're
buzzkill right
Judy
now.
Garland over there, like.
Meanwhile, it's one drink, half a gummy,
Right.
and like don't drink 3 cold brews.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
like
So I was giving myself shit because it was pandemic, but I would go fucking running to Griffith. I would run up and run down. I was doing this shit
wow.
like 3 times a week. I'm 41 now, but I was 38, 39 then. And I'm giving myself crap because I'm getting older. I'm like my knees and shit like that. And I totally zeroed out that it was pandemic. And I was also dosing like 100 milligrams of weed when I would run.
well, you were running.
Oh,
You mean
yeah.
right before?
Yeah, I'd take
Oh my
it,
God.
and then I would go running. I was like, well, that's why you were fucking high as shit and you couldn't feel your knees.
Oh
like,
my god!
being
Wait,
like,
so
we're 40. Like,
you
stop.
can, yeah. The weed. I think it's just like a slippery slope because I cannot. I've never been. I'm like terrible when I smoke weed
Oh, the gummy though.
or whatever it is.
Really?
I can't like be in public.
Function.
I did it like 15 years ago. My friend was like huge into like we'd smoke weed all the time, but I have to stay in the house. Not all the time. I probably did
Yeah.
it 5 times because I can't like I would just be like it's such a I can't take Erin Foley in public high.
Well, what about sativa or the kind of energy pot?
See, that didn't.
It doesn't really doesn't
No?
really do anything
Okay.
for me.
There is something called green crack. It's a strain.
sounds good.
It's very light, very focusy, all that kind of
green,
stuff.
but it's called green crack.
Yeah, it's a lovely name, but it's very like docile.
But
I don't know.
how does it make you feel?
Like I can like work on something.
Oh, okay.
Focused.
Yeah,
Not
I've-
like,
I've
not
actually-
like that, like this, like that.
Work on finding the remote for the television,
That's all. Oh my god!
and then you're just like,
I will say that. Well, that's how I end up watching '80s Press Your Luck on YouTube. Because
Yeah.
that shit is so fun. It's hours. Do you know you can
Damn.
watch old Prices Right?
oh,
All those. Do you remember the Barker Beauties and how they had that whole
Oh,
scandal?
yeah.
But they
Yeah.
would make them wear those like they were always in a bathing suit or like
Right.
a
just,
unitard
can you?
and hard nipples. At
I
10
mean, the
a.m.
thing. I mean, just even imagining Bob Barker as a straight virile man.
Yeah.
Like
He just died.
I know, but I mean, just even I know, but
He
I mean,
just died.
I can't. I have a.
All the shit.
Well, I just didn't. He doesn't seem like a pussy hound. Is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Well, he was pre Viagra too. That's the other
Yeah,
thing. So,
yeah.
what kind of weird cocktail? How many gummy drink? Like, what kind of Foley recipe was he on?
I don't know. But there was an interview, and there was just something about him. This photo of him and his wife, and an article, and it said that his wife said, "I'm like Bob in that I love him." Or like something like he loves him and I love him. Like so, he's probably like massive
All
narcissist.
him.
Oh
Yeah.
God,
But
I
that's
can't
the
even imagine.
that's the gig though. I want to host a game show and like never look back. How dumb is like even when Pat Sajak said he was retiring, my fucking ears were like maybe
You'd be fucking great at it.
You would be
You're so
great.
welcoming and funny and
I just want
kind.
to play Wheel of Fortune. I could
Yeah.
kill on that game.
yeah.
Do
But
you-
you would be a fun game show host.
I think it would be fun. Are you competitive as a sports person? I mean, obviously it's hand in hand.
Well, this is why I'm in PT for rehabbing my shoulder from my little
Oh.
aggression on the pickleball court.
What'd you do? You threw a racket?
No. I just was.
I
Like,
mean, because that is fucking lame.
Just-
You
It's
pickleball?
like throwing down a ping pong paddle and go, and breaking it.
right?
No.
In the raw emotion of it. But you play regularly.
I did. I haven't played it in a couple weeks because I just went a little crazy. Like my writing gig ended, so it's like you're sitting a lot. Then I just was like, going to the gym and lifting and pickleball, and I just went a little bit too. I can't do anything like half.
Oh my God,
You pulled out. I mean, what happened exactly? Did you?
Oh, it's like pre. Have you ever heard of frozen shoulder?
No.
I've
I've heard of it. Giving someone the cold
heard of it.
shoulder.
I've never heard of it in my life. But I got it like 2 years ago. All of a sudden, your shoulder just freezes. It's so
shit.
Like
weird.
motionless or you can't feel it?
No, like motionless. Like you can't lift your. So anyway, it's starting again. But I now I know what it is. So I just rehab.
Frozen
doesn't-
shoulder.
It's just exercises and strengthening.
It doesn't hurt when or
Is
it
that-
does.
Yeah, it hurts, but like I had, it's like you learn a new vocab term and then you're like a new word. I think that's wow. I just said vocab term
yeah.
for the word.
Yeah.
And then you just like hear it again and again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, my shoulder was messed up, and I went to the doctor a couple years ago, and they go, "You have frozen shoulder." I was like, "What are you talking
Never
about?"
heard of
Yeah.
it.
And then I was in a conversation because I was like, "Oh, I can't play because I have this thing called frozen shoulder." Immediately, 15 women in my life were like, "I have frozen shoulder." I'm like, "What?" It was just like the craziest thing.
You're out to dinner at restaurants and everyone around you saying,
Yeah.
I'll have the frozen shoulder.
shoulder?
Yeah. Oh, a
That
glass
really
of the frozen
sounds-
shoulder. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. You're at the dog park. Frozen shoulder. Get over here.
It was just a weird. I'm telling you, you will hear someone that has frozen shoulder now that I've introduced you to the term.
Mine was Bell's palsy, which I've never had.
Oh my God, that's so frightening.
It's frightening, right? You know what it is?
Right,
Because my
yeah.
friend got it, and because he was like, I was like, how did you get it? He's like, a cold wind blew. I was like, what? Yes, a cold wind, and his face went, "Argh," and then it Bell's palsy for like months.
God, that was like the thing. I read this thing about
Yes.
We should
about
Can breathe.
the Kansas City. What's the Kansas City team?
The Chiefs.
Yeah, the fans were frostbitten
the amputation.
and they got amputated.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fans of the
Super-
Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they were so cold they didn't realize that they had frostbite and they had to get their limbs
up.
amputated
At the game?
This was like the conference final game. Kansas City was playing. I don't know, maybe Buffalo. I can't remember. And with the wind chill at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, it was something like -15, and everyone was just
Yeah.
8,000 beers,
Right.
and people had their shirts, like
Oh my
crazy
God.
men doing crazy.
Right.
But it was awful. Yeah,
really
and so
happened.
there were so many emergencies. Like they have to they just cannot. You cannot host a
That's
you
gotta be
want to
a-
host a playoff game because Arrowhead is like the hardest stadium to play in because of the fans are just crazy, in a good way. But they're also drunk and it's -20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
now,
can't corral that
No,
either.
yeah, and
They
so
need
they're
to be inside a tent or something.
it's just something that the NFL literally is we have to look into this because this can't happen.
I will
again.
say
But
this.
that's embarrassing, though. Also, it's like, well, at least it was worth it. Oh,
Yeah.
well, at least you were hiking and
Yeah. Can you imagine?
cheering.
You're you just show up with no leg and you're like, what happened? You're like,
I'm a Chiefs
drunk
fan.
at a football game.
Yeah, like what the
Yeah.
the NFL though, well, I won't get into what.
Well, it's in.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, their whole concussion. They're like, we'll look into it.
Oh,
it's like
it's
everything.
absolutely
Like,
should
there's
be
slow
suing the
motion.
stadium, right?
It's just the worst.
This when the
I don't know.
Cowboys. This is also. Have I talked about this before? They built the new stadium, which is not new anymore, but the new Texas Stadium, or whatever, in Dallas for the Cowboys. They eminent domained all the houses in a neighborhood and gave everyone something like $900,000, and this one fucking lady just didn't budge, and they couldn't break ground until they dealt with her, and everything had been cleared and everything like that, and then that bitch got like 11 million or something.
Oh my God, that's
way more than
amazing.
everybody else because it was the NFL. It was
Yeah.
and the Dallas Cowboys franchise. It was like they have money.
They have
They can.
all
They
the
can
money.
buy you
Yeah.
a new house.
Yeah. By
And
the
what's
way,
your
can I just
sport?
do a nerdy fact about that stadium?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry because I'm not from Texas and I'm from New York, so I hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
So I'm just saying this. The architect of that stadium, on either end, behind the end zones, there's just almost like an open square. I don't know how else to describe it. But what they didn't realize is because of the sun, at different parts of the game, you are now going down the field with
and-
blasting
Oh my
sun in your
God.
eyes, where you're literally almost taken out of the game. and I was like,
horrible.
that just makes all the sense in the
Very
world.
Texan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just, literally, you're like, it was like the opening game because the first game ever played in that stadium was Giants Cowboys, and we never beat the Cowboys in the last couple of years, but it was Eli Manning, and we won, and it was the first drive of the Cowboys and going in their new stadium, and the quarterback no one could see, and I was like, this is so fitting of Jerry Jones.
Oh my God.
God, I
Is that
hate
why
him.
too? Some of the black, they wear the black stuff under their eyes. Is that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
How funny.
But you designed a stadium where half the game you blinded
can't
your
tell.
quarterback.
Yeah. So I lived through the 90s Cowboys,
Yeah.
right? Where it was like Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman,
Yeah.
and I can't remember any other people. But then our friend, who was super rich, moved out. Her parents built a new house out in Azle, and their neighbor was Troy Aikman. And that was the most famous thing. I had never met anyone.
Yeah.
The Chumpus family was so famous. The one time we went there, it was like, I literally was like trying to look. Because he's so like, he looks like he's like ex-con hot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he is handsome.
He's like, or like busted stupid.
Yeah, I know who he-
handsome. There's
yeah.
something about him, like, and he's not that bright when I see him like commenting on things. But I don't know. I love.
But neither is the president.
Oh my god,
And
I
you're-
can't.
Tony Romo's cute. Troy
Yeah.
Aikman did nothing for me. Tony Romo,
Romo
I
is
got
cute.
I got a real soft spot for Tony Romo.
Do you know who I like? I've never seen a water polo player that is not smoking.
Oh my God, it's
They're
stunning. They're
Holy
beautiful.
hot,
shit.
right? Not a
My
single
God, and
bad
just
one.
like ripped and
Like,
just
and-
It's the
Incredible.
weirdest physique, and it's so
Yes.
attractive. I love that sport.
oh my
You
God.
know what?
Also soccer.
Before
man.
Soccer's hot. Are
before
you
we
kidding?
convince Erin to come to the other side, we have to. I'm sorry, we have to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
And Erin, I want to know, how do people find you for coaching and stand up and everything?
Yeah, it's all on my website, erinkfoley.com. And yeah, if I'm doing stand up, which I am doing a little bit, I'll post shows. But and then there's a whole page for coaching that explains everything. And I'll give you a little plug. Like if you've been doing stand up no years, 5 years, or you're you've got a date on the books. Like I'm working with someone on their late night, Netflix, 0 years.
Wow, that's great.
It's fun for me to have like an array of different, or if you've got like, a wedding speech and you're nervous, just
Yeah.
hit me up and we'll make it fun.
Oh, we
Hell
can
yeah.
totally vouch for that too. You'd be lucky to work with Erin.
But
for
also
sure. She's so
follow
goddamn fun.
Erin on the social media because you post clips and
Oh, yeah,
your
I've been posting
comedy
clips
is
on
so
Instagram.
funny.
Yeah.
You're like a real master. You always annihilate. And also you run leaving off drunk on stage.
Well, that's
at
really
Akbar.
Bruce.
It's Bruce's
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
but
but
I
it's so
associate with
fun.
you too. But even
It's
in
so
that
fun.
small,
Is that a show called
You were
Drunk on
there.
Stage?
Yeah, you were there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just kind of your birthday celebration thing.
Oh no, Bruce has been doing it for I know we have to go. It's Tuesdays at Akbar in Silver Lake. It's such a great workout room.
Oh, it was really a great show.
It's
Yeah.
just so fun.
But you kill there all the time.
Well,
Like,
right
you
back at
really
you two,
annihilate.
please.
No.
If you guys, first of all, the pairing of you two is like a dream sequence. When I saw that announcement, I was like,
Yay.
go see these two.
Yay.
Two of my all-time
Well,
favorites.
we're going to be
Love you
together, the
mucho.
three of us,
Yeah,
in Puerto
in
Vallarta.
PV.
I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna do RERE.
You will. We're going to talk back.
And
And I'll even call Sarah about it and say, look, get this done.
We're gonna make this happen.
Okay, kitty.
thanks for coming.
Thank you guys so much.
Yay. Bye.